Expedition 33 is a massive game. There is a lot to see, there is a lot to discover, and a lot to explore. And what we're going to cover today are 5 early mistakes that you can avoid to get the most out of your gaming time, especially if you're a casual gamer who doesn't have much time to game. That way you can play, have fun, and enjoy the game to its fullest. And if you happen to be new here, it's your boy Grandpa Casual. I do gaming news, reviews, and overall discussions about gaming. So if that is your vibe, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Expedition 33 is my favorite game right now, like ever. So if you need tips, if you need tutorials, you need guides, I am definitely your guy. But with all that said, let's get right into it. All right, mistake number 1 is sleeping on the Pictos, the Luminas, and the tints. Okay, so Pictos, I thought they were like some side collectible things, but that was a huge mistake on my part. So one thing to understand is that you have your skills, which are just your base skills that you pick, and you earn that through your skill tree. Then you have your Pictos. Pictos are like passive skills. They're passive abilities that you stack on top of your skills. Pictos are actually kind of serious in this game, especially for your builds, because they can boost your health, your speed, your defense, your crit rate. So they're basically a big chunk of your build. And Pictos themselves can actually be upgraded. And how you upgrade a Picto is pretty straightforward. So what you do is you equip that Picto, and once you win 4 fights with that Picto equipped, then that Picto becomes a Lumina. So when it becomes a Lumina, that's when it gets taken to the next level, because Luminas now are shared between your team. So a Picto is usually only able to be used by one character, but when it becomes a Lumina, now it's open to all of the characters. You'll have your skills, then you'll have Pictos that you picked, and then you'll have Luminas on top of that that'll further enhance your build. But the twist here is that you can't use every single Lumina on every character, because each character has a pool of Lumina points that you can actually upgrade as you fight and you win battles, and each Luminum themselves is worth a certain amount of points. So you can only add Luminas to a character up to the amount of Lumina points that character has. So you got to be really specific and really careful with your characters and your builds, because once you spend a Lumina point and you add a Lumina point to a character, you can't get it back. You have to earn more. So far, I haven't seen a cap on a Lumina point, so it might get to a point where you can just have enough Lumina points to put every single Lumina that you have on each character, which is just going to make all of your characters broken, which is something that I look forward to trying out myself, to be honest with you. And if you want to know how far along you are with the Picto as you're leveling it up, if you look at the end screen after every fight, you'll be able to see a little bar on the side of it. Once that bar is turned to gold, and the game will actually notify you after the fight to let you know that you have a new Lumina. It'll tell you that there's a new Lumina received or a new Lumina available for you. Another thing that you can level up along with your Lumina points are your tints. Tints are very important too, especially when you're in a fight, because that determines how many revives you have, how many healings you have, and how many energies that you can actually dispel to other characters while you're in the battles. And it's definitely something to pay attention to, because as you get further in the game, the bosses get really tough and those healings and those revives become really, really clutch. Mistake number 2 is ignoring the companion time. And I know it sounds simple, and a lot of people probably like to skip past all the talking and stuff like that. But if you spend time with your companions, it actually comes with some type of cosmetics at times. At other times, it comes with Pictos and also gradient strikes and abilities. So you actually get rewarded for the progression of your relationship with each character, and also for maxing it out with each character. So that's something to pay attention to, because you don't want to miss out on certain moves or Pictos or even cool cosmetics that are out there. And in my opinion, the conversations are really great. It actually dives deeper into the character and adds more depth. And without spoiling anything, it really makes the whole gameplay experience even much more better, having the depth on all the characters that are around you. Mistake number 3, staying underleveled for too long. I know that the game is a slow burn, but I would recommend trying to get up to at least level 50 as fast as you can. I reached the last boss around level 56 or 57, and I found that whole last stretch to not be as bad as I thought it would be. And I played on standard difficulty at the end of the day, so it was still difficult, don't get me wrong, because you still have to learn the attack patterns of the bosses and stuff like that, and the enemies that you face. So I found it, at least in terms of my health and my survivability and stuff like that, to be much better around level 50. Mistake number 4 is ignoring Sciel and Monoko. Now, I know it's easy to bench these two because they kind of come later in Act 2, and you get so attached to the first cast of characters, it's really hard to let them go. I really didn't want to let any of them go from my party either, but it kind of shot me in the foot, because Sciel has this dark energy that she's a specialist in, and she really acts as a healer at the end of the day. And Monoko, at the same time, he has a ton of different abilities and attacks that come from the enemies that you face. He collects all types of moves from those enemies, but at the same time, he has to be in the party for him to collect it. So if he's not in your party when you're actually fighting and in the fight, then he's not going to collect any of the moves from all the bosses and all of the enemies that you face in the game. And it's really important, because there is a wide variety of enemies that can give you an advantage, because a lot of them are elemental or they have healing properties and things like that. So don't ignore these two, because if they're underleveled and you put them into a fight, they're probably going to get washed, and you won't really get the most out of them, because they'll be underleveled and they probably won't have much survivability in the fights that you put them in. Mistake number 5 is using only one character to talk to the NPC. NPCs. So I didn't realize this until way later, but certain NPCs only want to react to certain characters. Like there are NPCs that only want to react to Sciel, and there are characters that only want to react to female characters. So there's a potential to miss out on some cosmetics and some cool items if you only talk with one person throughout the whole game. So because some of the NPCs will even tell you, I don't even want to talk to you, man. So try switching out and see if they want to talk to other characters. That's a little hint that I'll give you without spoiling anything, but it's something good to keep in mind. And just as a bonus tip, I'll say go off the beaten path. I know that there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, there's a lot of verticality in this game, but you get rewarded for pretty much everywhere that you go. So if you just go straight and narrow, that's rewarding in and of itself. But if you decide to take these little side paths as much as you can, it can make fights easier. You can find some great items as well, and you can find some items that can actually help you in the fights that are upcoming. So be sure to go off the beaten path, try some other things, go some other routes, see what's around, explore it. The game really rewards your exploration in that regard. So I would say do that. It'll really help you out and make the gaming experience even better. And those are 5 early mistakes that I made in the game. Hopefully I helped you out. If I did, consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments some mistakes that you made or maybe some that I missed. I'm always down to have conversations with you all. Thank you so much for chilling with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.